Okay. All right. Good morning, DTT. Sorry about the delay. We were having a few technical difficulties. Um, Let me just turn off my volume on this. All right. So let's go real quick to our stock screener. We're going to be going over a few tickers to look at this morning. I'll be going over a few stocks, and I'll be going over a few option plays that we can do. So right now, I was doing a few pre-market analysis, and I got PROG as one of my tickers that popped up on my scanner. PROG has a good 70 million in volume. The average is around almost 100. So if we can pick up a little bit more volume, that'd be great. But on PROG, let's macro out real quick to the daily. And on the daily, I'm seeing that we have resistance here around 443. And I'm going to say right now the price is at 365. So let me go into the 1 hour just to get a bit of a better perspective on the candles. So what I'm seeing is there's a lot of resistance in this area, and I did mark on like an early entry for 423. But that is an early entry, risky entry. If you want to take a safer entry, I'd say PROG, you can take an entry at 457 for a safer entry. So first entry, a risky entry would be 423 on PROG, and you would exit at around 440, 450. And secondary entry on PROG, PROG, will be 457, and you'll exit maybe around between 480 and $5. Stop losses, I think stop losses can be, so if you have your entry at 423, your stop loss on that one can be like 390, 395. And then for the entry of 457, your stop loss should be around 445, 440. Sorry about that. And that's PROG, P-R-O-G. Let's go to the 1 minute, see how the 1 minute looks. 1 minute, just to give you guys a little glimpse on how the pattern's looking. This is looking like, hold on, my bad. So this pattern right here is somewhat looking like a falling wedge. Let me draw it out for you guys real quick. So there's a falling wedge on here on PROG. So as you can see, it's starting to reverse back up. So as soon as we break out of here, we'll have to come test $4. We got to break through $4, come back and retest it, and then on the turn back, on the way up, you would take your entry at 423. That's for PROG. The next ticker that I had on here on my scanner was Ford, but Ford's not looking so good, and it's way below average volume. So I'll probably not look at this quite yet, maybe until it increases in volume. Let's go to see EVACS. EVACS came up. So EVACS has 2 million in volume. Average volume is almost 4 million. So this is looking decent. EVACS, let's macro out real quick to the daily, and let's try to find some support and resistance. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Sorry about that. So yeah, EVACS, let's see. We're at 752. So let me mark my psych levels. 750 is a psych level. And then $8 is a psych level. Psych level means like psychological level. Let me put one for 850. Okay, so what I'm seeing here on the daily is, there's a lot of like resistance from 750 basically all the way up to $10, but we don't have to wait up until $10 to take an entry. We could do a quick scalp. For example, look at this super extension that happened. So let's see, we can try and let me go to a 15-minute chart. Okay, VWAP is, are we below or above? We're barely above VWAP. We are under, let me go on the 3-minute. Okay, so yeah, EVACS is not looking so great. If anything, you can maybe short EVACS. I'd probably short EVACS after $7. Let's see. Yeah, so after $7, maybe take a short entry at, I'd say 677, and you could probably write this down to maybe 650, maybe even $6. Let me see where we have some resistance support. I mean, yeah, so like the next support would probably be like around 550-ish and $6. So, actually, you would have some support right here, 650 as well. So yeah, you can scalp, you can short this from 677 down to 650 on EVACS. I don't really see this going bullish yet. Maybe if we start to reverse on EVACS, you can probably take an entry at, I'm gonna say 817. Let me just go to the 5-minute just to make sure. Yeah, so you can take an entry at 817 and then ride it up to 850. After it breaks through 850 and retests 850, you can take another entry, maybe like around 857, maybe 863. Could be another entry after you break through 850. So that's for EVACS. Let's go to another ticker. Oh yeah, let me go over a few if you guys want to play some options real quick. So SPY, let's look at SPY real quick. SPY is moving bullish right now. It's looking really good. Let me mark my psych levels. I'm gonna put one right here at 470. So see here on SPY, right now would be a perfect entry on SPY to take for calls at 469.57. Right now might be a little too late to get in. So try not, don't get FOMO and try to get in last minute. Right here, we would wait now until we break above 470. I'm looking at a SPY calls entry at 470.17. 470.17 on SPY. Oh, also, by the way, if you guys if I forgot to mention earlier, my name is Omar. I am an instructor for DTT, and my main focus and strategies is on stocks and options. So if you guys want to learn more on options and stocks, and if you guys have questions, feel free to hit me up too on the side. Also join our Telegram group too, so that way I can see your guys' messages through there if you're on YouTube and you're not in our group, in our signals group. So yeah, back to the options. So on SPY, I'm looking at an entry for calls at 470.17. That would be your first calls options play for SPY. Let's go to NVDA. NVDA is looking good. I actually had an entry on NVDA at 308.17. So right now you'd be in the profits if I would have called it earlier. So right now we would wait for the next psychological level to be broken through, which would be in this case 310. So this is looking bullish. As you can see, I did draw a pattern here, which this pattern is called a falling wedge. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's called a expanding triangle. And an expanding triangle usually is bullish. A falling expanding triangle is bullish. So right here on NVDA, you can take another entry for NVDA calls for options at, I'm thinking at 317. Let me edit this. So 317 on options call, that's where you would take your entry, and then exit. So you can exit at every next psychological level that you hit. So for example, here at 310, if we hit 310.17, you enter and then you would be able to exit. You can take some position at 311, but the way NVDA is moving, it moves almost a whole dollar each move. So what I would do is I'd probably take some positions at 311, let some ride. We might hit some resistance at 311.50. You can either hold or wait until we break through that 311.50 and then go to 312. I would take some profits at 312. So just as you reach each psych level, take some profits, because you never know. We might hit a psych level that might have very strong resistance and then pull us back down. But NVDA entry coming up at 310.17. There's your entry on NVDA 317. Now you would ride this all the way up to 311. You could take some profits at 311 on NVDA calls. Let's go back to SPY. Let's see what SPY is doing. SPY is doing, it's struggling a little bit to break through 470, but the way it's looking very bullish. So I think we are still going to be able to break through 470 on SPY. So you can definitely take that 470.17 entry and probably exit also at each psych level that you hit. So if we start to move up, 471 would be where you would take your first profits, or all. Just depends on you. You can always ride this to the next psych level, which would be 471. You could take all your profits and then wait until we break through 471, and then you can re-enter back at 471.17. If the way SPY is moving, it's not moving like NVDA. You see, look at NVDA. Right now, you are in the profits from 310.17 all the way up to 312. You moved almost $2 whole on NVDA, and this is still looking bullish right now. So me personally, I would still wait and be in NVDA and probably ride this up until, if we macro out to the 10 real quick, you can ride this up to maybe 313.50. That was I think yesterday's high. So all-time high or something like that. You would scalp it up to there, and then once you get to 313.50, I would exit, because we are going to face some resistance, and then you can always just get back in at like I'm gonna say safer entry after 313.50 is broken, 314.17 for calls. But NVDA is popping off right now. So if you took that options call on NVDA, you're in the money right now. SPY is approaching entry as well. You can take a SPY call at 470.17. A SPY call at 470.17. And if you're wondering which expiration date, you can choose to. I think SPY has an expiration date for today and for the 8th. Both dates have cheap contracts, so it just depends on you which date you want to go for. What I will say though about a contract that expires today, and if you buy it today, it comes with a little bit more risk as to where at a certain time, I think it's at 2 p.m. Eastern, at least on Webull, you won't be able to sell your contracts. Like, you'll kind of basically get stuck. So you don't want to get stuck on the same day expiration date. So what I would do is I would probably buy calls on like for November. I think it's November 8th. I would buy calls. There you go. Look, SPY is hitting 470.17. SPY options calls 470.17. We need a little pullback here. That's fine. We might just come back down to retest 470. If not, it's just a little pullback that we needed. 470.17 right now. You're in the profits. Again, have some diamond hands. Ride this up to 470.50. If you see the candlestick start to struggle as we reach 470.50, I would take profits as you get close to it, and then wait until we break through 470.50, and then you can re-enter at 470.57 on option calls. But those are two. Oh, look at that rug pull on NVDA. So NVDA kind of did rug pull right now. And what I'm seeing is it didn't hold VWAP. So again, like I said, every time that you enter, for example, if you took this entry at 310.17, That's why I said it's good to take some profits as you reach each psychological level, because you never know when this will happen. So I would have taken some profits at 311. I would have taken some profits maybe at 311.50, and then probably at 312. If I would have seen that this wick right here started to happen, or was looking a little overextended, I'd probably just take full profits on there. But NVDA is pulling back hard. It's pulling back very hard. So I hope nobody got caught in that rug pull. Let me go to some regular tickets real quick. SPY is also pulling back, so be careful, guys. Yeah, be careful on SPY. SPY probably wants to just pull back and hit this 9 EMA on the 1 minute, probably test it, and then continue to move up. If SPY does reverse back up, we might see NVDA move back up. It's probably dropping because maybe SPY is falling. It's following. Sometimes NVDA will follow SPY. So just keep an eye on that. Let's see, SPY is still looking bullish. Let's go to a few other tickers, regular stocks. Let's go to some regular stocks. Let's go to RWLK. RWLK, nothing on RWLK. Let's go to BORR, BORR. We have 7 million in volume on BORR. Average volume is almost around 1.7 million, almost 1.8. Not much price action in this one, so I'm not. It doesn't really look that interesting to me, just because I like to trade price actions, and there's really not much price action here on BORR. Let's go to, let's see, ASRT. Nothing on ASRT. If anything, we would have to break above $2 on ASRT. You could probably take an early entry like around 177, but yeah, we would need a little bit more volume on ASRT. Let's go to here. Let me check real quick my messages. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's go back to our stock screener real quick. Let's go to overview, since we are in since the market is open. Let's refresh this. Okay, so a lot of big tickers with a little bit of volume. DDOG has good volume. Let's see. BIGC. Let's look at this one. Already had it pulled up. OTRK. All right, OTRK. Let's see. OTRK is looking good on volume. It's above average, which is really good. It's 2 million. Average is almost 500,000. Let's see if let's macro out real quick to the daily. Okay, so what I'm seeing on the daily is we're at the price of 1204 right now. So I would mark my psych level at 13. Oops. I'd mark it at 13. Let me mark in case we go down at 11. So what I'm seeing here is an entry on OTRK. You can go in, let's say around, I'm gonna say 1357. Let me mark this psych level as well. 1350 is the next psych level too. So yeah, let's wait until we break above $13. Let me macro in. Yeah, so once we break $13, we're gonna have to break 1350. You can what I'm seeing on the 1 hour chart is you can take an early entry here, maybe like around 1317, and then exit around 1340, 1350. But if you wanna get in for a bigger move, I'd say maybe around 367. 367 entry, secondary entry on OTRK, and then you could possibly ride this maybe up to like I would take profits at $14, Remember, every psych level you hit, there's a potential risk of being rejected or being pulled back. So I would take profits maybe once I enter at 1367, take profits at 14. If you want, let some ride. But if you start to see it struggle, I would just take all profits and then re-enter at 1417 on OTRK. Also, if you guys are wondering, how do I find these stocks with volume? So when you go to the stock screener, depending like if you're in pre-market or during market, so you would click the tab extended hours for pre-market, and then overview for when the market's open. So right now, since the market's open, I have mine on the overview tab. And normally the way I find tickers with the greatest percentage change is you click this tab, and it filters it out from the highest percent change to the lowest. And then not only that, so this is how I find a few tickers first, the ones that are moving the most in percent change. And then after that, normally I'll get maybe like the first, as long as it has like more than 15%, I'll probably add it to my watch list. But then I'll go over here to the volume tab, and I'll click on it, and it filters out also the volume on the tickers from the highest volume to the lowest. So then what I would do is I would go from the highest, and I would just look, to see which tickers have the highest volume, and also add those to my watch list if the percent change on it wasn't much. Because like if you go to volume here and you filter it out from the most volume, you'll see that some of these tickers don't have much percent change. This one has only 10% change, 9%, 6%, and this one has 35%. So when you make your watch list, you want to be able to have tickers that are moving in percent change, but also have enough volume. So let's go real quick back to the overview tab. Let's go to percent change. Let's refresh this so we can see what other tickers are coming up. I'm seeing ALZN coming up on my scanner. Let's take a look at this one real quick. Okay, this one's looking really good. This ticker's looking really good. Get ready for an entry on this one, guys. So let's macro out real quick to the daily. Let's just see. Let's find some strong support and resistances. I'm seeing strong resistance here at 350. Support at $3. So let's go ahead and okay. So what I'm seeing is we have a little bit of resistance here around this area 3, and on the way up. Let's go into the 1 hour just to get a bit of a better picture. Okay, yeah. So right now, since we are basically hitting $3, you could have taken maybe an early. If I would have posted this earlier, you could have taken a 317 entry on here, but it might be a little too late. So right now, what I would do is I'd wait, and I'd probably take an entry at 357. Let me go to the 1 minute real quick. So yeah, 357 entry on ALZN. 357 entry. Exit would be again your next psych level, which would be $4. That would be your exit, and your stop loss on this one would be around 340, 345. So ALZN looking very good, has 18 million in volume, average is 2 million, so that's a really good sign. So yeah, definitely once we break out of this, you could take that 357 entry. What I am seeing here too is if you want to take an earlier entry, you can. You could take a 327 entry and ride that up to 350. You can take profits once you reach 350. Again, what I would normally do is wait until once we reach 350, take all profits, and then wait until we break through, come back to retest 350, and then get into your take the entry of 357. So that's ALZN. Let's look at another ticker. Let's see. Let's me look at. See, I try to find some like penny stocks for you guys. More. Oh, look, here's one. ENDP. Let's look at ENDP now. Waiting for this to load up. So ENDP volume, average volume is 6 million. Volume right now is around 2.2 million. So on ENDP, first thing is I would definitely wait until we start to kick in with some more volume. Let's get a little bit more volume surge before we have interest in taking an entry. But for now, ENDP is at 564. So the next level, psych level is $6. Macro out. Let's just find some resistances real quick. So yeah, look, there is resistance around here. Let me mark 650. And then where's this price at? Okay, so definitely could probably take an entry at 633. Let's go to 1 hour real quick. So yeah, on ENDP, you would wait until we break through $6 and come back to retest $6 and then take an entry at 633. The reason why you definitely want to wait until we break through on ENDP, you want to wait till we break through $6 and come back to retest it is because and if you macro, I'm still in the 1 hour, but if you go on the 4 hour, there's resistance in this area right here between $6 and like almost 630, right? So the reason why you want to wait until we come back to retest $6 is in case we fail. In case we fail $6 when we come back for the retest and it starts to pull back down, you don't want to get caught in that pullback. So definitely wait until we break through 6, come back to retest 6, and then if we start to see this overturn back up, take that 633 entry, and then you could take some profits at 650. You can either take half profits, let some ride, or take all and then just re-enter at 657. Again, before you enter 657 entry, you want to wait until we break through 650 successfully and then come back to retest it. Retest 650 and hold. We always have to hold when we come back for the retest and then move back up and then take that entry. So that's ENDP. Let me go back to, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, ENDP entry, early entry 633, secondary entry 657 on ENDP. Let's go back to some options real quick, see how that's doing. Okay, so NVDA and SPY are both cooling down. So SPY right now is at VWAP. So let me mark some patterns real quick. So what I'm seeing here on SPY is we are creating a falling wedge right now on SPY. So this is a falling wedge, which is a bullish reversal sign, which as you can see, it's starting to reverse. Once we break through, we're breaking through 470, which is a very good sign. You can definitely take an entry. I would say let's wait until we break above 470.50. Let's wait until we break above 470.50 and then take an early entry at 470.57. So on SPY, you would take an options call entry at 470.57. Once we reach this price at 470.57, that's where you would purchase the options call. You're not buying the price of 470. You're buying the option call at that entry point. I hope that's clear to everybody. But yeah, so SPY is kind of struggling here. So just let me give you guys some game real quick on patterns. So normally I used to, when I trade patterns, so I'll draw my pattern out, right? And the first wick that I see break through the trend, for example, this wick right here, this candlestick, I mean, as soon as I see this break out of the trend, normally that's a good sign for me, right? Because it broke all the way up to 470.06. When the candlestick breaks out of the trend, you don't want to take an entry right away as soon as you see that break. Normally what I do is I'll wait for the second candle to open, which is this candle, And if this second candle opens and you see it doing this, what it's doing right now, when it comes back down like this, normally that would be a fake out. You'll get faked out. But when you see the candlestick start to move back up like this, it can either be the second or the third candlestick. But once you see either the second or third candlestick start to go green and move back up, you only want to take the entry of that pattern when you reach back up to 470.06. Okay. So you would wait until it breaks second or third candle, depending, like for example, the second candle was kind of weak and it didn't go back up, so I wouldn't take that entry yet. Third candle did the same thing. It tried to go up, couldn't retouch 470.06. It failed right around 470.01, 470.02, I think, and came back down. So that right there is a fake out. So I would wait to enter at 470.17. I mean, my bad, not 470.06, which would be a pattern break entry, not a price, not a momentum entry. This is more like for pattern breaks. So that's one way to trade patterns and how to look at patterns. So when you do also see this fake out that just happened, you just kind of want to adjust your pattern back to it. So I would grab this. I would put my pattern at the top of this wick, still touching this wick right here, and then the bottom. The bottom stays the same. We're still touching at least 2 wicks, 2 candles. But yeah, look, see now it's starting to break. So now right here, it's trying again. It's gonna probably break out at 470.06. But this time, since we did change the pattern, you want to wait for the next candle. So right here, what I would do is I'd wait until the next candle pops out, and just depending on where that candle goes, if it goes down, just wait, because most likely what will happen is it'll kind of be like a rubber band effect where it'll sidestep. Look, you see sidestep right there, and then as you come down, it'll if it wants to reverse back up and keep going, like right there, I would take my entry. This is where I would take my entry on a pattern play. You take an entry here, and then you would ride it probably up to around here, 470.40, or around 470.40, because what can potentially happen is you might take this entry and you might be in the profits all the way up until we get to this point, and you have a potential risk of being caught in a double top, which a double top can be a reversal pattern. So just be aware of that. But if you did take that entry, you could have taken a SPY calls entry around right after this breakout of this bull flag, and right now you're in the profits. You'd be in the profits all the way up to maybe around 470.40. SPY does look bullish though, so I would wait once we reach here, take all profits, and then wait again until we break 470.50 to re-enter for SPY calls at 470.57. But SPY's looking good. I like how it looks. Also, not to mention, it is above VWAP and above 200 EMA, which those are 2 really good indicators that I look at to consider whether I should be in calls or in puts. So on options, I like to use VWAP as one of my main indicators as to determine whether I should be entering in calls or in options. So right here on NVDA, since we are under VWAP, I would wait until we can break above VWAP, come back and retest it and hold to start considering SPY calls. I mean, not SPY calls, NVDA calls. And then if we're under VWAP, then you would consider SPY puts. I mean, NVDA puts. Sorry, I'm just used to trading SPY all the time. But you would do puts if we're under VWAP. Not to mention also, you got to check where your 200 EMA is. And my 200 EMA on this one is around 304.60. That's the 1 minute 200 EMA. You want to macro out to the 5 minute 2, 15, and sometimes the 1 hour, just to get a better picture of what other indicators, what other EMAs you can possibly face. Where if the price is coming down, and let's say right here you'll face the 1 hour 9 EMA. We might see some support there and maybe a possible, chance of reversing back up. But normally 9 EMAs are kind of weak. So are the 20s. So just to let me hold on. Let me go to YouTube real quick because I think there's comments. Okay, yeah. Let me go on some YouTube comments real quick, guys, so I can answer some questions for you. I can't see the YouTube comments. All right. So I guess one of the YouTube comments is if I can take a look at LHA. Let's go real quick. Look at LHA. LHA, that's I don't think that's in the US market. This is like another, like the German market or something. I don't know. Lufthansa. Oh, it's an airline. Okay. The question is, hey Omar, can you take a look at LHA? It started to fill the gap up, I believe, right? What gap up? Let me go on the daily. Okay, I'm on the daily on this one. So I'm trying to see what gap up it is that they are talking about. Okay, yeah, I'm not really seeing much on LHA. Volume is good though, but I don't know if this is like a US market. I don't think it's NASDAQ. But here, I'll give you some technical analysis on it. So your next psych level is $7, right? I'm seeing a lot of resistance in this area, and that's on the daily. Let's go to the 4-hour real quick. So yeah, so you got some more resistance, or like you got resistance here that also created support at one point. So let's say $8. Let's mark that. 650. I mean 750. Let's mark 750. Okay, so on this one, on LHA, I see a potential entry around 757. 757 entry. It's gonna be a bit risky just because there's a lot of like resistance here. So that I would consider this an early entry and then exit maybe like around 780. If you want to take a safer entry, wait until we break above $8 on LHA and then take an entry at 817. If you take an entry at 817, I would scalp that up to maybe exit around 850. Let me read this. So yeah, 850-ish is where I would exit on this one. LHA. We're gonna need a lot more volume to reach those kind of entries. So LHA is not looking, too good to me, just because I mean there isn't much price action, even though there's a lot of volume. So I would just wait until you start to see volume increase and then the price action also increase. Let's see. Let's go back to our SPY. Look, SPY calls are in play right now. So if you guys took that entry, that SPY call entry at 470.17, you're in the profits right now. So right now what SPY is doing is it's trying to come back down to retest the 9 EMA. Most likely what will happen is, since we didn't create a double top, this is looking bullish. So right now, basically that's what's happening. We are testing the 9 EMA on the 1 minute chart right now. So this is a bullish sign because we just bounced off of the 9 EMA. So you could still hold your position here on your calls and probably even exit maybe up until 471. I'm sorry, 471. You would exit, but you're definitely in the profits right now if you took that SPY call. Let me take this call with you guys. So I'm gonna buy a SPY call. So the price is at 470. I'd probably buy the 474 call for November 8th. I'm buying 6 contracts, which is gonna cost me a premium of almost $200. So right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until the candlestick retouches the 470.57 entry. So I would wait, because what it's trying to do is it wants to retest the 9 EMA, which it should hold. And if it doesn't, the next EMA you want to look at to hold is the 20. And then if it doesn't hold that, it needs to hold VWAP. Let me give you guys a quick little strategy that I use on pullbacks like this. So let's say on a SPY call that I took, let's say I entered right here at 470.57, right? And then you start to see this pullback. So what I normally do is I'll wait. That's why I have my 9, my 20, and my 200 EMAs and my VWAP all on my chart. Because what will happen is this will pull back. It'll break through the 9, and it'll probably test the 20 and probably break through that. The one strong indicator that I basically determine whether I'm going to hold or sell is the VWAP. So right here that I saw, it broke through the 9, and it also is trying to break through the 20. Basically, what I would do is I would wait until we come back down to test VWAP. I'm still holding, again, my position from the SPY calls. I'm holding it all the way up down until we test VWAP. And if we test VWAP and we're able to reverse back up, that's a very good sign. And what I would do at that point is I would average in. So once you see that we're bouncing off of the VWAP, moving back up, my strategy is what I like to do when I get in a situation like this is I buy more contracts to average down. So that way, the price that I had first bought it at, it's averaged down to wherever the price is currently at. And then when you start to see the reversal, you're going to see a very bullish sign, and you'll be a lot more in the profits because you're now averaged down. Your entry wasn't here, now it's going to be like maybe around here, or close to where VWAP is at. So also another thing to look at. So right here on SPY, what I'm seeing is we're on an uptrend, right? The reason why I say that is you mark your trend line from this wick down to that one. So we're on an uptrend, which is a very good sign that we're still holding here. So again, what SPY is probably wanting to do, it's probably wanting to come back down to test VWAP and probably bounce off of it. If you're in the position on the SPY calls and we break through VWAP, I would actually sell my position at that point if we break below VWAP. So basically my stop loss would be around 469.77 or 469.83. 469.83 would be my stop loss if we continue to fall down. But the way I'm seeing SPY, since we are making higher highs and higher lows, it probably just wants to come back down to retest VWAP and then bounce off of it and move back up. So if you do see that happen and you are already in the SPY call since the entry I had first called, just average down. And once you average down, you'll see that once we reverse back up, you're going to be like a lot more in the profits than you would be at this entry up here. So just keep an eye on for SPY to do that. Let's look at NVDA. So NVDA is looking good. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Let me delete this old one. When a pattern is broken, also if you're drawing patterns, when your first pattern is broken, you always want to delete that pattern and create a new one after it's broken. Give it a few minutes to create a new wave, so you can start to make another pattern. So on NVDA, is what I'm seeing is this is looking a lot like another bull flag. Yeah, this is another bull flag right here on NVDA. So definitely want to wait until we break above VWAP. Trading a pattern under psychological levels sometimes can be risky, but the way NVDA moves, you can, in a way, you can kind of ignore that theory, because what will happen is if we break above VWAP, we most likely will break out of this trend line, right? And you want to, when we do break out of this trend line, you want to wait again. If you want to take a pattern break, wait until the first candlestick breaks out, and then the second candlestick is the one that you determine whether, if the second candlestick sidesteps, comes down, holds, and then moves back up, that's a perfect indication for you to take that entry of where that previous candle had stopped. So right here, like, perfect example right here on NVDA. Let's see what happens. If we can break out of this trend, we might need a bigger wick than this, though, a bigger candle. You want large candles to break out of patterns, because those are more bullish than a small candlestick trying to break out, because most likely that'll be like a fake out, which is kind of looking like right now. So again, that's if you want to trade the pattern. If you want to wait for a momentum break, I would probably say you could take you could take an entry at I'm gonna say 308.17. You could take an entry at 308.17 and then ride that up to 309 and then 310. But yeah, NVDA is looking good. Let's go back to SPY. Look, see, SPY is moving back up as well. Again, SPY is bullish. Why? Because you're creating higher lows and higher highs. So that's how you know SPY is still bullish. When you start to see that we start to create lower highs and lower lows, then that's indication that we're starting to reverse back down. Let me look at some YouTube comments real quick, guys. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, let's go to OT. What is it? OTRK. Okay, OTRK. Oh, OTRK is looking very good. So yeah, OTRK actually hit both of those entries I had called, and we're in the profits already. So if you took that entry, congrats to you. You are in the profits. Secondary entry on OTRK. Let me see. Let me mark my 1450 psych level. So yeah, secondary entry on OTRK will be 1467. 1467 is your next entry on OTRK, and your exit would be either 15, or if macro out, let's see. Yeah, I would honestly scalp this every. Oh yeah, this is looking good. So what you can do on OTRK is you can take an entry at 1467, write it up to $15. Once you hit that psych level of $15, you can do either two things. You can sell your whole position and then just re-enter once you break through $15 and then retest it. Or since the way OTRK is moving, it's moving almost like quick 50 cents. What I would do is I would just sell some positions at 15 and then let the rest ride, and then probably sell more positions at 15.50. And then if this still looks bullish, just continue to let some profits ride. But definitely want to always consider your psych levels. Psychological levels are very, very important. Let me see what other tickers are in the chat that we can look at. Just so you guys know, the one way, if you guys are wondering, like, how am I finding, how do I know what resistances and support zones to clear, basically how I can read price action and momentum. I learned all of that through Richard's bootcamp, and I think I took that bootcamp about 3 months ago. I took that bootcamp, and in 3 months, I was able to level up, my entries like a lot more quicker. just because, you know, he goes over a lot of the fundamentals with computer trading and just a lot of information that, you know, a retail trader should know. So that way, you know, when you're facing support and resistance levels, you know how to identify which ones are strong and which ones are weak. So definitely consider, if you want to get better at your trading, definitely consider the boot camp. That the boot camp is a great way to get you started. This is what I'm trying to say. Boot camp is a great way to get you started, and then once you learn the strategies through the boot camp, those same strategies that I learned from the boot camp, I took them and I applied it to options, the way I trade options, and the strategy I used with that, and how I've been making a lot more profits in options is, you know, because I play the exact same way of the entries. The only real difference between options, buying option contracts and buying shares, is basically how you buy them, how you buy the contract. That's all it is. So like, instead of when you're buying regular shares off a ticker, you're buying 100 shares, right? So with options, you're basically buying a call. You'll be buying, let's say, you'll be buying an options call with a strike price of, for example, on SPY, I would probably pick a strike price of 471. Expiration date, probably the nearest expiration date, just because those contracts might be a little bit more cheaper. That's what I would choose. And then you would buy the call, right? You would buy either between 1 contract, 4 contracts, just depends on how much you're willing to pay for the premium. And that's basically the difference. But I use the same strategy as to when I should enter that options contract and when I should sell. The same way as when you're scalping regular stocks. So if you do have more questions on like the way, like if you want more insight on how exactly I apply my strategy to options, you know, you can again always message me in Telegram. Join our signals group, message me on Telegram. Not only that, I do offer one-on-ones as well. So in case you guys are interested with that, you can do a one-on-one with me, and I'll literally go over every single thing that I do when I start to trade options. So, you know, how I look for the tickers, when I look through support resistances, which contracts to buy, how to look for the contracts, you know, etc. Just basically all the things, basic things you would need to learn how to play my strategy on options. So let me get some water. Oh yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at some more tickers. Let me read some comments real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. Once you cover it, if you wrap up. Okay, sounds good. All right. Let me go and look back at some tickers. Ooh, ENDP is looking good. ENDP, did I have this entry at? No, I didn't. This was like from a day before, I think. But let's go ahead and let's look through some tickers. So PROG, PROG. PROG is doing really good. It did break out of, so see, look, PROG, if you would have, let's go into the 3. No, let's go to the 5. PROG did a nice little move out of this falling wedge. So on PROG, I did draw this in the pre-market, this wedge. So PROG, what I would have done on this play, on the breakout of a pattern, is you see this candle wick right here. This is a really good candle wick breaking out of this wedge. That's a very bullish sign. So as soon as you see this big candle wick break through, this second candle wick is the one to determine, is going to help you determine whether you're going to take an entry at 382 or if you're not. So, and the reason, the way you determine that is if this second candle again comes down and holds and then goes back up, that's a good sign to take that entry, right? And then you would write it possibly up to, $4, or whenever you start to see it, stop when the momentum starts to slow down is basically what you would do. So PROG now, since we broke out of this wedge and it's coming back down hard, I wouldn't take an entry until we get to 423. So definitely want to wait until we break above $4 again, and then take an entry at 423 on PROG. PROG, let me see. ENVB. Let me go ahead and look at ENVB. No, that's ENDP. Let me see. ENVB. Okay, ENVB. Not looking so great, honestly. The only reason why I say that is because of volume. Normally, I don't even like to find any kind of interest in any tickers if they don't have at least above average of the volume or at least 1 million in volume. And ENVB has less than its average right now, so that's why it's barely moving. It's not doing nothing. So ENVB, it's basically a dead trade. I wouldn't trade it. It's not going anywhere, and it has very low volume. Let's go RWOK. Let me look up some other tickers because, okay, look at OTRK. OTRK is moving back up. So once we break, you can take that 1467 entry on OTRK, exit at 15. So right here is the retest. This is the retest, and right here is where you would buy at 1467. When you hit 1467, that's where you would buy. So right there, you buy your force. You enter at 1467, and now you're just basically waiting to see if what the next move is. Sometimes this can be a little scary though, just because like it's such a big candle that you can get caught in somewhat of a rug pull, like what's happening here. But look, this is a retest right now. What it's doing is retesting 1450. We're retesting it, and it's retesting pretty good. It's holding. If we can hold here, you can take that entry. If you already took the entry, you have a 9 EMA right here at 1408 on the 1 minute chart. So you can wait until we basically hit that and then bounce back. But if you don't want to risk it, if you were to set a stop loss around 1440, 1445, you'd be stopped out already. So the way OTRK is moving, it's looking real bullish. So I believe that this one is going to reverse back up. It's going to go back up. We're probably going to hit 1467 and then move up to 15. So just wait until once we hit the price of 1467, that's when you want to buy your shares, and then ride it up to 15. You can take some profits at 15 and then let some ride back up. But if you want to play safer, take all your profits at 15 and then just re-enter back at a safer entry like around 15, 17. So this is not looking so good, OTRK. So I would it's still kind of like in undecisive mode right now. So just kind of wait. But let me get a bigger picture of it. It does look good though, because as you can see, since market open, we're creating higher lows, and higher highs, right? So that's a bullish sign. Not only that, you can draw yourself a trend line. You draw yourself a trend line. When you draw these trend lines, you want to touch at least 2 to 3 wicks or candles. You touch 2 to 3 candles on the way up of these, and boom, you have right there a perfect indication for you to let you know that we're still on the uptrend. We're still looking good. The only look, see right here. So this is where you would consider, okay, maybe we're not looking so good anymore, is because we're breaking out of the uptrend. But again, a lot of the times you can get faked out on a reversal, like right here. Oh, sorry about that. On a reversal, you can get faked out as well. So like right here, what can happen is we'll probably break out of this trend, but then we'll test VWAP and then move back up. So watch, keep an eye on that. If we break through VWAP, then it's looking bearish. But if we hold VWAP and move back up, that's a bullish sign. That's OTRK. Also, not to mention, when you do take entries, um, when you set your stop losses, it just honestly it depends on your risk tolerance. Like if you're willing to risk $20, $30, 100, like whatever it is, like or even your percentage, it's up to you. It's on your risk tolerance. Like my risk tolerance would be if I would have entered at 1467, my risk tolerance would be up until VWAP. And that's probably again it depends on on the amount of shares you buy. So normally is you want to buy like a small position. You want to take a small position when you take that first entry, and then if you start to see this go back down, you can also when you see it go back down and bounce off of VWAP, you can do the same strategy that I showed you earlier with the options, where you can average down. So like you would average down, buy some shares when we bounce off of VWAP back up, buy some more shares, and so you can average down. So that way, when you go back up on the uptrend, look, you see, it's playing out exactly how I said. It didn't touch VWAP, but it's getting close to it, and that's probably what it wants to do. It's probably wants to test VWAP and then bounce off of it. So when you do see that again, you can average down if you're already in the position, average down, and then but only average down if you see it bounce off of VWAP and we get back up on trend. If you see it break through VWAP and it doesn't hold 1350, I would take that loss. And then just look for a better entry. And when you do look for a better entry, definitely consider like a higher entry, maybe 1477 would be like a better entry after we go back up, just in case we get caught in the triple top or head and shoulders. But yeah, it's OTRK. So we are getting close to let me bring that back up. We are getting close to the end of this live. A couple things I want to mention to everybody is definitely join our signals group, guys. If you guys can, take advantage and join our group. Send it out to your friends, your family to join. It's free to join our signals group, and in our signals group, you guys will get entries, exits, stop losses, pre-market watch list. We give you guys basically, we help you guys make money, even though if you don't know too much yet about stocks, we are still there to guide you. Not to mention, we have instructors and junior traders in that signals group that you guys can message whenever on the side. Just message them if you guys have any questions. Also, there is a boot camp opening up for December 5th and the 10th, 2 hours each, and for the boot camp. Definitely take advantage of that, guys. I honestly will say this boot camp is, in my opinion, it's undervalued, because the amount of valuable information that you get off of this boot camp, it's crazy, because a lot of institutions, banks, they teach a lot of this stuff too, and they charge like a lot more money to take these kinds of courses. So definitely take advantage of that boot camp, guys. I learned a lot of my trading skills off of that, my strategies, and it helped me a lot to level up. In literally like 2 months, 3 months, I leveled up. But yeah, that's the boot camp. It's not to mention, all of this is in the description. Like all the links are in the description. And also, let me mention the one-on-ones. If you want to learn how I trade options and make huge percent gains, and want to know how it is that I call these option entries, because sometimes the option entries and exits are a bit different than when you're trading stocks, like when you're scalping regular stocks. So if you have any questions, you want to get better at trading options, or just want to master it, anything, feel free to book a one-on-one session with me, and I will teach all of what you need to know to make some money off of options. Also, let me see what else. Oh, but yeah, so when you guys do join our signals group, we do also offer a day trade course. And in that course, basically in that course, it'll help you to get started. It'll go over like which brokerage accounts to use, how to use a brokerage account, what trading view is, all that good information. The day trade today course does offer that. So also, if that is there for you guys to take advantage of as well. So let me see if let me call Sebastian real quick. Okay. But yeah, guys. Again, also one last thing before I wrap this up, please do us a huge favor. Share this live with your friends and family. Like the video if you can. Give me a thumbs up. I think you can comment if you can comment, but for sure subscribe and like this video and share it. Share it with your friends, your family. Lots of good information that is being put out for free, in these lives. And also next Wednesday, we will be doing a free training class, like a free training session in our Telegram group. So if you want to be a part of that, again, come join us in the signals group right here in the link. There's a link down here in the description. Come join us so that way you guys don't miss out on that Wednesday free training course or session. Sorry, free training session. And again, I'll be going over kind of the same thing of what I did today, but in that session, I'll actually be able to go over a little bit more in detail about what indicators I use, what VWAP is used for, just a lot of free game basically in that Wednesday session. So don't forget to make sure you guys are in there. Sign up, because I think you do have to sign up because there are limited seats. So make sure you guys take advantage of that and sign up for the Wednesday free training session. But yeah, guys, I hope everyone has a good trading day. And I hope that you guys make some money. I will still be dropping tickers and option calls and puts in the Telegram group. So if you guys want to still take entries with me, make sure you guys join us in the group. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Wednesday in our free training session. Let me go ahead and end this. All right, guys, have a good